thing that I do. And that at a glance is I start my day out with a meditation, not necessarily a prayer or anything like that, but it's just a meditation where take some time, quiet time, try to project myself into, you know, what it is that I'm feeling and what it is that I want to try to get accomplished for the day. And the second part of it becomes the action plan. You know, I actually get up and I go about the routine of actually doing what it is that I'm trying to do.
Original piece of work.
Yes.
Okay. You know, being here at Greenwood Park, I've connected with a lot of artists in our community, and one of the questions is that a lot of artists have is that, what do I charge for my pieces? And it's hard to tell them what they should charge. I do agree with making sure you charge for the time and the materials. But that's one thing I feel about art is that the value, you have to put the value on it. You know, like, can't no one say, well, no, your piece is only worth this. Like, you know, I can go to the store and buy a tube of toothpaste. You know, we know $2 or $3, whatever it costs. Art is so different from that.
Yes, it is.
It's so different from that. It's because you almost can't value art. You know, you almost can't put a price tag on it because, like this piece here, it comes from a place from your heart, and you can't put a price tag on something like that. So that's one question that a lot of artists have. And that's what I try to tell them. I mean, it's what you feel you're worth. So just moving on to the next question here. So, education. So throughout the years, have your education influenced your career, your art career?
Yes, it have. As I stated earlier. Education, when I got to the college part of it, it was sort of like, you know, I'd go a quarter or two and then I let it go. And but to walk back from that a little bit, it's like education has always been something that was just like deeply rooted in my family. You know, I come from a very humble Southern, you know, family background, and you know, I mean, like where I am now, a lot of people would probably read about my life in a book or something. You know, the kind of things that I had to deal with socially and culturally, and that kind of stuff is a little bit different. So, you know, one of the things that I think that my parents and the folks around me kind of instilled in everyone was that, you know, the value of an education. You know, stay in school, stay out of jail, and I repeated that many times. With an education, it was like what we call an education, like a high school, college, or trade school. You know, having the exposure and the institutions of higher learning, supposedly that sort of stuff. Then that has enabled me again, like I said, to sort of like find a purpose and a meaning, you know, in my life for doing different things. You know, when I started out, you know, I don't know if you call them careers or jobs. First couple of real jobs I had in my life, I don't think those were jobs that I want to make a career out of.
Right.
I should have been trying to become an artist, but I didn't really know that at that particular time. But yes, you know, the educational part of it has enabled me to have jobs that were in public service, or that helped me, again, like kind of like define my own self or redefine myself in terms of what it is that I want to be doing that was going to give me some kind of mental, physical, spiritual worth.
Okay.
And So it made me more determined. You know, being in that environment of acquiring the education, it made me become more determined. It made me try to define and make opportunities for myself. It gave me, like I said again, a purpose and a reason, you know, for existing. And I think that's the greatest value that I can take away from what I would call my education.
Right.
And you know, other than the fact that it broadened my whole perception and understanding of the type of world that, you know, we live in.
Right. Right. All right. So last question for you. I've asked other artists this. Writer's block. Do you ever get not writer's block, but artist block? Do you ever get artist block?
All the time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great question too. That's a good question. It's a really good question. Yeah, I get artist block whenever I sit down to start a piece of work, and the way I kind of get around that is I'll set up the paper or the canvas or whatever it is I'm about to start with. Well, before I do that, I study or I think about what it is that I want to do. I take a little bit of time to just process this, self-talk myself about here's what I want to do, here's what I think I want to do, lay out the paper, put the tools and everything that I'm going to be working with. And as soon as what I found out that worked for me was that as soon as I started to feel like there's something delaying my energy from moving forward, I'll stop. I'll take a break. Okay. I'll get up, I'll go walk around, I'll get a drink of water, I'll come back and put the pencil or the brush or whatever's on the paper. I'll try to start whatever it is I want to do. And what I found out is that I got around that block, and after I stay with it for so long, I might get blocked again. I'll leave it alone, and then I'll come back to it again. But another thing that I've learned, so a little strategy that I use, and I do this daily, you know, just to get into my day period. I have like an at a glance, you know, little thing that I do. Okay. And that at a glance is I start my day out with a meditation, not necessarily a prayer or anything like that, but it's just a meditation where take some time, quiet time, try to project myself into, you know, what it is that I'm feeling and what it is that I want to try to get accomplished for the day. And the second part of it becomes the action plan. You know, I actually get up and I go about the routine of actually doing what it is that I'm trying to do.
Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing specializes in custom framing, printing on canvas, and selling contemporary and African American art, all housed in our 3,000 square foot art gallery. We are centrally located in Milwaukee at 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue. We recognize local artists and strive to connect local talent with the community. We're asking for your support. Contact us to find out how you can help sponsor the work we're doing to highlight local artists in our community.
That includes my art as well. At the end of that, there's a reflection. So at the end of my day, or at the end of my project that I'm working on, I'll reflect on what it is that I've actually tried to get accomplished. And then I put it away and I have what I call my rested period.
Okay.
And just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. Wow. So when you come back off of the artist block, do you feel your creativity about that particular piece is stronger than it was when you initially started the piece?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's why I thought it was a good question. Number one, kind of like bam, you hit right in the head with what's going on. Right. But yes, usually when I come back, I can see even better what I'm trying to do, or if I've gotten sort of like, and I draw everything that I'm doing first of all. So like in drawing it, sometimes my lines might not be exactly where I want them to be at. And when I get that block and I come back, and I can sort of just look at the paper and I can see where it's supposed to be at, and then I can correct it, and then that helps you get over that fear of, that block of moving forward. Another thing about that, the same thing can be applied to other things that you do in your ordinary life if it's not just doing the art. You get a block about something you got to do, you take some time, you walk it off, and you come back and you just go deal with it a little bit with a clear understanding.
Okay. Now, do you have any advice that you want to give the audience here in regards to that, or not even just with artist block, but with say there's a young artist or just any artist that's trying to get into the trying to get their work out there, or trying to get into the business? Do you have any advice to give them?
Well, yeah, I don't know if this is advice or not, but I know from my own self, my own experience with being allowing myself to become the artist that's already in me and feel good about that, and feel comfortable with that, is that I think it could be writing. The artists, period. I think we kind of made a reference to that, but I think artists sometimes have an efficacy problem, where you might have an issue with how strongly you believe in what you're doing, and I had to work around that. So my thing for that, again, is I would think about what you're doing, just stay steadfast about it, be determined to make it happen, and try to find out as much information that you can get about what it is that you're trying to do, so you feel like you have a better understanding for whatever your creativity is. But I would never give up. That's one of the first things I think, is that there should be like this inner exploratory thing that you do for what it is that you naturally can do, your innate ability. I believe that everyone has some kind of innate talent, innate ability, and that a lot of times that just sort of like gets pushed to the wayside because we're chasing after so many other things. And the other thing is that you can't develop an appetite for too many vices that's not healthy for you. Mental, physical, spiritual. I would stay on that holistic health.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Herman. We appreciate you at Greenwood
I appreciate
Park,
you.
and we support you. I think you're a great artist.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right. That's it. The Artist Connection podcast was generated from many conversations with local artists around the lack of opportunity to showcase their talent. Here at Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, we recognize our local talent and strive to connect artists with the community. Please enjoy this opportunity to hear from local artists and learn more about what inspires their work.